What is up, everyone? We're back again with another collaboration video, and today I've got a very special guest. We have James Lack, aka the Movie Bug, on the channel today, and I'd just like to say welcome, James, to the channel. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me for a start. It's always a blast to do these collaboration videos. They're always the most fun.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad to get you on here, mate. I've been watching your channel for a while now. I remember before I even started my channel, I I was subscribed to a few people, and I typed in UK Blu-ray
Yeah.
collectors because every time I watched Blu-ray updates, it was American
Yeah.
coming up, and they have sort of different releases to us. And I think you come up when I typed it in and I subscribed to you. I think I've been
Yeah.
for a few years now before I even started. But yeah, if
Yeah.
you type in UK Blu-ray collector, you'll probably come up.
Well, I think that's the reason why I done it actually, because when I used to buy Blu-rays, I'd search up, like Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars Blu-ray box set, and it would always be the American one. I was like, there's no one talking about the UK ones.
Yeah, it's a good tag to put in, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and now there's loads of us doing it, which is great though, because of the little community that we've been building. It's really, really great.
Yeah. Now there might be some people on my channel who aren't aware of your channel. I highly doubt it. But what I'll do, if you're not subscribed to James the Movie Bug, I'll leave his link down below in the description as always. But James, do you want to just tell everyone briefly what you do on your channel? I mean, I think we all know, but if you want to tell us a little bit.
I mean, I always look at my channel to be a bit random, but it's all movie related. I might show a Blu-ray, even though lately, because of COVID, there hasn't been many Blu-rays coming out that I needed to buy. But talking about movies in general, reviews, live streams. I've got a few series going, like tier rankings and bad movie reviews. And if you like Star Wars, you'll probably like my channel as well. But yeah, that's it's just everything movies. It's all random. It's all good fun, and it's just a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I watch all your videos, mate. Variety is the spice of life. I think you know that saying because there is a
Yeah,
lot of different stuff on your channel, isn't it? Uh,
yeah.
yeah, all that you've got all that good stuff over there, and you're putting a lot of content out. I mean, I think you put about 5 videos a week or something like that, don't you?
Yeah, I must admit, there's one of the few good things that's come out of COVID for me. It's I've really been able to work on the channel a lot. Before it was like one video a week, and now throughout lockdown, because I was put into furlough like 3 times, I just kept making content. And now even while I'm back at work, I get home from work and I'm like, I want to make another video. So it's just it's great. It's I just really enjoy making all the content.
It's quite addictive. I love the feeling of putting a new video up myself. But,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've had a few people in my comments a couple of times, like say me and you should do a collaboration. So
I've also had this.
so for those who did want it, it's finally happened.
Yeah, I just want to say as well before we go into the topic that I'm a big fan of your channel as well. I really am. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks so much, James. Thanks. I do aim to please, but I'm
Yeah.
just glad people take the time to watch it. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I know you've said it a few times on Instagram, but when people send you a picture of your channel on the big screen, I can't believe people watch me on the 50-inch screen.
Yeah,
That blows my mind.
It's really strange because I can't lie. I watch YouTube on my phone. So then you see someone watching it on the telly and you're like, oh my God, my face is on that TV.
I agree with that totally. But today I usually go through different types of films with people or certain actors or whatever. But today we're talking about directors. I've never done a collaboration before on directors. I usually pick 5 each when I've got a guest on, but we're just going to go with 3 each today because there's a director has a long filmography, don't they?
Yeah.
I think it's just it might go on all night if we pick 5 directors. So we won't spend a lot of time on each one, but we'll mention a lot of the films and some of our favorites and stuff. So James has picked 3 directors. I've picked 3. So I'll just. Do you want me to start, James, with the first director?
Yeah, it can do.
Just before I do, are you going to go in order of your favourites or like my number one? I'm going to save my number 1 till last, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, I suppose I will then. Yeah, I'm trying to work out in my head now which one do I like the most. But yeah, I'll try. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, well, the first director I've gone with here, I've gone with David Fincher. Now, I've been a fan of this guy for a while. He's a very consistent director, I think. And I know you've been watching a lot of his films lately. I've seen some of you talking about, when you're in them on blogs and stuff, and you're a fan of him yourself, I think. But I just think this guy knows how to tell a story, to be honest. And I don't think I've seen one bad movie by him. And I wrote all his films down before, and I've seen every single one of them except the latest one, Mank.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I've actually seen.
But I think he's made some brilliant films. He knows how to direct a thriller movie, doesn't he? I mean, at least half of his films are thrillers. And a lot of people, like, I'll start with his earliest one. A lot of people don't like this film, but I don't mind it. Have you seen Alien 3?
I have. And you know what? I don't think it's a bad film. I don't. Because I see a lot of people really, really go to town on trying to destroy that film. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's got a good, like, a setting of the jail, isn't it? It's like in a big jail or a prison on another planet and stuff. But I put this up at the start of the video when I put the editing up, but there might be spoilers for some of the films we talk about. A lot of people don't like that because, the start of the movie does kill off a lot of characters from Aliens and stuff, which I can see that. But I don't think it's a bad film. And David Fincher himself doesn't really like it either because the studios interfered and messed around and stuff. But I think from there, even if you like it or not, you can't doubt some of the other movies he's made, like Seven, Fight Club. I mean, you told me off camera before. Did you enjoy Fight Club? Or
I did. I watched it. I watched it last night for the first time ever. I thought because I do want to watch all of David Fincher's films, but I was like, there's one movie that I need to watch of his for this video, and that was Fight Club. And I did really enjoy it, to be fair. I thought it was a really excellent movie. Like, the only thing that I would criticize about it is there are some bits in it where they're beating the hell out of one another. And then a couple scenes later, they're fine.
Pretty gruesome fight scenes and that. Yeah. Yeah. And there's one moment where Brad Pitt's getting beat up and he's just laughing.
Yeah.
He's getting
I was like, I'm getting some serious Joker vibes here of this guy. But I love the ending to that movie, actually. That's one of the best endings I've seen to a David Fincher movie, after maybe Seven. I thought it was great. And I really had a great time with it. Brad Pitt's always great, I think.
I think he's in that movie. I think that's probably my favourite role of his. I just think he's amazing. To be honest, Fight Club's in my top 10 films of all time. Yeah. And when I first watched it when I was about 14, I didn't like it. I thought it was terrible because I was expecting this whole movie that's about just fighting and nothing else, but it's terrorism and stuff, doesn't it? It's just quite weird. But
am I right in saying this is the film that put him on the map, or was it Seven? I'm not sure which one come first out of those two.
Seven came first, but it was... I think it was like 3 years before or something, but he's used them again. And I don't know. I think it might. I think it was more Seven that did put him on the map. But while we're talking about Seven anyway, I know you watched that for the first time last month, was it?
Last month, I watched that one and Zodiac back to back, and they're my two favourite David Fincher movies. And I still can't decide which one I like more. I love them both, but Seven was. It was fantastic. It was just so well made, and the story was incredible. I really thought it was. And there were some really hard scenes to watch in that movie.
Yeah. What did you think of the ending?
I thought it was amazing. I really did. But I did have it in the back of my head. I was like, when the box was coming off, I was like, oh, that's going to be... I was like, Gwyneth Paltrow, she's... Yeah. I did kind of actually guess it, like, right before it happened, to be fair. But, yeah, no, it was amazing. So well done.
Yeah. I like the way the last 30 minutes, like, they're looking for this guy, aren't they, all the way through the film, and he just comes in and gives himself up.
Yeah.
And it's into a bit of a horror film the last 30 minutes, I think. But, it's really, really well told. Like David Fincher, he knows how to tell a story, I think. And I've got Panic Room. I've seen that one a long time ago. I thought it was okay. Have you seen that one?
I haven't seen that one yet. No, there's a handful that I haven't. I think I've seen about 2/3 of his catalogue now. I think.
Yeah. Zodiac. Now that's one that I did watch a long time ago. I think I'm gonna have to give that a rewatch because so many people love that movie, and I just don't think it clicked with me. But I don't know why. But it was a long time ago since I watched it.
Yeah, I mean it happens, like I watch some films sometimes that people love and then it just doesn't agree with me. But I really love that one. I don't know whether it's because it's just Jake Gyllenhaal, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal might be my favourite actor. I absolutely love that man. But I found the film so captivating, and I was genuinely scared for most of that film because it's true story or true events. It adds to the tension, I think, like a lot. And I was so nervous throughout most of the movie. It was incredible, I thought.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I thought it was like at the time it's like a 7 out of 10 or something. But I know
Yeah.
people rate it like 9, 10 out of 10 even. I just have to rewatch it. I just think at the time maybe I don't know, but I think it's one of them I'll like on rewatch to be honest.
Well,
Um,
it's interesting because I feel exactly the same about another David Fincher film, which I'm sure is going to come up in a minute.
I think it might be the next one. Is it The Curious Case of Benjamin Button?
No, I actually haven't seen that one. Is that also Brad Pitt?
Yeah. It's a good movie. I think it's on for about 3 hours, but it's a good story. Like I said, David Fincher tells good stories. Um, Basically, he's aging backwards. If you like when he's 90, he's a little baby.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was that a true story? No, he had like a medical condition, but I'm not sure if it was exactly true. Social Network. What did you think of this one?
That's the one that I sort of felt like that towards. I need to rewatch it because everyone still tells me that it's amazing, and I'm like, I liked it a lot, but I don't think I'd go to the amazing level. But I think maybe with a rewatch that could change my mind because it's been a long time since I saw it, and I think when I saw it, I was much younger, and I wasn't really understanding films as much as I do now, for example. So I feel like if I put it on now, I think I would feel very different towards it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge Jesse Eisenberg fan. So I think that's an immediate off-put. Although I will say Andrew Garfield gives his best performance of his career, I think. And I did find the film good. It was very interesting. But I think that one is due a rewatch with me.
Yeah, I think you can sort of flip reverse that with Zodiac for me because I actually really love The Social Network.
Yeah.
And, I can see your point though. I mean, you watched it a while ago and now you appreciate film a lot more. But
Yeah.
then again, you mightn't like it on rewatch. I mean, we're all different, aren't we? But I just thought that was a really interesting movie. That I thought a film about Facebook can't be that good. And then I started hearing people rave about it and stuff, and I was really blown away by it. I didn't know the full story of Mark Zuckerberg, the way, he sort of, I don't know how true it is,
No,
but
yeah.
the way he sort of became the CEO and stuff, and sort of, I don't know, he backstab Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. It's a very interesting story, that's for sure. It's one that I 100% need to revisit because it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've seen it. But I think it's one that I'll appreciate a lot more in another viewing.
There's 3 more he's made. By the way, not for every director. Like, there's one coming up who's made 60 movies. I'm not going to go through this film. This guy's only made 11. I'm just going through them.
Yeah.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You seen that one?
Actually, that's the next one on my list to watch because I really want to watch that because a lot of people tell me that's Daniel Craig's best movie. Not his best performance, but the best film he's been in. So I do really want to watch that movie. It looks really good. I've seen the trailers to it and it looks fantastic.
Right. I think it's good, but I do think the Swedish version is better. Yeah, there's like a trilogy of them. I do think it's better, but it's still good, this one. Gone Girl is another one.
I have seen Gone Girl.
You have, yeah?
I've seen that one. That's one I've seen. I loved it. I thought Gone Girl was really good.
Yeah, I did. I back to his best with the thrillers, I think.
Yeah.
But he made like Social Network and Benjamin Button before that, and they're not really thrillers, but they're more dramas. But this is definitely a good thriller. And Mank is the only one I haven't seen, to be honest. What did you think of Mank? I mean, a lot of mixed reviews about that one.
It's a really interesting movie in terms of like a timepiece. It does like a really good job of like it reminds me a bit of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it's like it's brilliant at putting you in that that completely different time period and that completely different style of filmmaking. But neither of those films have much of a narrative going on, and I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a bit. But this one, this film has a real problem about halfway through. It's sort of just the narrative just stops going anywhere, and the film. I don't know. It just I was really invested in the first hour, and then it just took a real nosedive about halfway through for me, and I sort of lost interest. But it's not a bad film. It's still good. I enjoyed it a lot. It actually did crack my top 10 films of 2020 purely because there wasn't much else going on. But yeah, it's good. It's not great though.
Yeah, I've heard it. Does it go a bit political towards the end? Is that what the problem is?
It does go a bit political. I think for me, I just genuinely because there was some pacing issues and the narrative wasn't moving along. It wasn't going in an interesting enough direction for me personally. I think about halfway through, I sort of started tuning out a bit.
Yeah. Last thing on David Fincher, he has agreed a new 4-year deal with Netflix, I believe. Mm-hmm. So you're probably going to see a lot more David Fincher stuff coming to Netflix in the next few years, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. But
hey, the more films, the better.
What was that story doing?
The more films, the better.
Yeah, obviously that's what we want. Sometimes it's easier on the streaming services as well. There's I mean, you just press play, it's there.
Yeah, I can't lie. That's how I watched Fight Club last night. I just went on Prime and it was there.
That's what I done for the director you're going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, just anything else to say on David Fincher, James? Or
well, I just say I am genuinely looking forward to finishing off watching his catalogue. He's really impressed me so far. He's a fantastic director.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to apologise to people if we're not going thorough on some of the films, but
yeah,
we talk about 7 for half an hour. I mean, it's like another 100 not films.
We'll be here for about 5 hours, folks.
Yeah. Okay, James. I'll let you go next. Is there any which director are you going to go with first?
I think I'll do Taika Waititi first, even though I think this guy has potential to genuinely be a bit better than at least one of the others I'm going to talk about. At the minute, he hasn't got a huge catalogue. Yeah. So, and I discovered Taika through Thor Ragnarok, which I think most people did. But then after watching that, I went back and watched all these old films in preparation for Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
And I've just fallen in love with him. I think he's so great on and off camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen much of his? How many of his films have you seen?
I've seen. I think he's got 6 films. Mm-hmm. Is that right? And I've seen.
I think it's 6. Yeah, I have seen. I'm trying to work it out in my head.
Yeah, well, I've seen 3 of them, and The Mandalorian. Obviously, I think he directed one of them. Mm-hmm. But I'll talk about the future of Taika Waititi in a minute.
Yeah.
There's some exciting stuff coming from this guy, like you just said, with the potential he's got as well. But the ones I haven't seen, James, if you want to talk about these first, I don't know if you've seen these 3, but Eagle vs. Shark, The Boy, which I was going to watch last night, but I just couldn't fit it in because me and Beyonce were watching something and it got really late. I was going to watch it when she went to bed, but I was a bit angry with it. And the other one is one my friend in work, Craig, told me to watch a long time ago, and that was Hunt for the Wilder People. They're the 3 I haven't seen. Have you seen them 3? Or
I've seen them. Yes, Boy especially is great. I really love Boy. It's his humor down to a T. So if you like good coming of age comedy movies and Taika's humor, it's the perfect film.
Right.
It's great like that. I love it. Taika is fantastic at casting younger actors, I find, because you've got him, then you've got the kid in Hunt for the Wilder People who went on to star in Deadpool 2, and the young boy in Jojo. It's like he's great at casting young actors, which I think is actually quite a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But Boy is fantastic. I really love that movie. Eagle vs. Shark is his first one. So that one, you sort of get that the man is still new to all of this, but it's still a good movie. It's quirky, it's weird. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say on that one, to be honest. It's one of those kind of throwaway movies. And Hunt for the Wilder People is just really, really good writing, I think. It's just really good filmmaking from the word go. It's got a great cast. And there's some beautiful shots in it. The cinematography is really good. You can tell that by that point, his directing skills had got a lot better.
Yeah. I think you're right there when you say about he's casting young actors. Like, really, I mean, we'll get on to Jojo Rabbit in a minute, but the two kid actors in that are brilliant.
Yeah.
But Eagle vs Shark look really weird. I was looking at that poster going, what's this about? Like, I was just like, well, I can tell it's probably got, like, his humour is very unique, if you like. So it's probably got that in there, but...
You can definitely tell it's his first movie.
Right, okay.
But it is good. It is good. I still had a good time, but it's just got a very quirky sense of humor, like more quirky than it normally is.
Right. And when I looked at The Boy as well, I mean, that's got a really... Well, I wouldn't say really high rating for IMDb, but it's got a very good rating. I think it's like 7.5. That's a good rating for IMDb, I think. But I was really interested in watching that. And I'm gutted I didn't for this collab, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, I really want them to do a Blu-ray of it here in the UK, because I think you can get a Blu-ray from New Zealand, but it's like so expensive. I've just got the DVD because it's like I can't pay like it's like £25 plus. I can't pay that for that movie. So I'm hoping they do. I don't know who would have the rights to put it out. Maybe Criterion or a HMV Premium or something like that for it. I think that would be brilliant. I'd pick it up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, just slightly off subject, but it's great when you want a movie you want on Blu-ray it gets released, isn't it? I mean, or you hear about it. It's good when that happens. So hopefully that happens for you, James.
It's like I'm waiting for like all of like the Wes Anderson movies to come out in Criterion, and they slowly keep dropping them, and it's really exciting when they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get on to him in a bit.
But
Thor Ragnarok, I think it is the best Thor movie out of 3. To be honest, I recently watched the first one because I'm going through the MCU now, and it was brilliant. But I do remember liking Thor Ragnarok the best. It's got some great. I think it looks great, you know, the way he films it and stuff, and some great humor in there. I mean, I loved it when was it Thor said he's a guy from work. I love that when he's like the Incredible Hulk.
my favorite one in it is still the character that Taika voices, Korg. Where he just comes out of nowhere and says the weirdest things. You know, when Loki's finally got that stun thing off his neck, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm Korg. We could jump in the spaceship." It's like I love it.
He puts himself in his movies sometimes, doesn't he? I mean, maybe all the time for all I know, but because the 3 I've seen, in all 3 of them.
I think he is in all of them. Thinking about it, he plays a big part in Boy, so you'll like that. He's in that movie a lot. He's in Hunt for the Wilder People for a very small scene. I can't remember whether he was in Eagle versus Shark. He probably was.
Yeah. But right, this was a big surprise for me. The one. Am I all right to talk about this next movie?
Yes. Go for it.
I watched this the other night and I was in love with it. I thought it was brilliant. The What We Do in the Shadows.
I love you. Honestly, you got to watch the TV series as well. You got to watch it. It's on the TV series is actually better if you can believe it. But yeah, it's such a good film. I love that film. It cracks me up.
Dad was always telling me to watch the series like years ago, and I was like, I don't know if I fancy that, but now I do want to watch it. I can watch. It's really well made. It's like a documentary, isn't it? But it's a mockumentary, if you like, because it's like. It's very self-aware. It knows what it is. It knows it's taking the piss out of itself.
I love how it takes the piss out of vampires. Like when they're trying to get into the club and they have to be invited in, and they're like, "Ask us to come in, ask us." And then is it a bit when they're getting dressed up to go on a night out, but they can't see their reflections, and they're like drawing each other.
I loved it when they walk past them werewolves as well, but they look really go out. Go and lick your crotch.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I fell in love with this film. I'm definitely going to be ordering the Blu-ray.
100. do have the Blu-ray here somewhere. I don't think it's the best made Taika film, but it is my favorite because the humor, I think it is my perfect sense of humor, that it's just very self-aware. And I love the mockumentary style to it. It's just perfect, I think. I love it.
All the characters are great as well. I mean, the three
Yeah.
vampires, well, the fourth, the one who comes to
Yeah.
them, is just all great.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hilarious when the first scene when he just rises out of the coffin.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes to the curtain or something, doesn't he? And he's like peeking and he see if the sun's out, and then he looks back at the camera, and because that's the first time he addresses the camera, I think, and he looks and he goes like, "That was a close one."
It's always very scary for me.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I thought he was brilliant in that film. He
Yeah.
really. But I've got to mention this film. This is a very. Go on. Well, do you want to go on to Jojo Rabbit? I'll let you go first. Or
Yeah, Jojo was really exciting for me because I remember when this film was coming out, and I was sort of really in a big Taika mood, and I was like, I can't believe that there's a comedy movie coming out where it is largely advertised around Hitler, and it's a Jewish guy not only directing the movie but also playing Hitler. I'm like, it's a really strange concept to start with, but I saw the trailers for it when it dropped, and it's like, this looks amazing. And now, because Thor Ragnarok gave him the platform, he's now got massive actors in it. You know, you got Scarlett Johansson, Stephen Merchant, Sam Rockwell. Yep, Sam Rockwell. I had to think there for a minute. Rebel Wilson. There's so many big actors that are popping up in it. And I love war movies, and I love these kind of comedic twists on things like this, and it's a really great movie, really good coming of age story as well in there, and I think it's just a fantastic film.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. I know it came out in 2019 and we got it in 2020 in the UK, but it's still classed as a 2019 film. But if I put that on my top 10 2020 films, it would have been like that with The Gentleman. I wouldn't have known what, it was that good.
Yeah, I mean, I got.
Sorry.
I got quite lucky. I got to see it in 2019. I got to see it early as part of my Cineworld card, so I was really lucky. And I think it made my top 3 films of 2019. Sorry, 29. And I saw like over 100 films 2019. I put it top 3, 4. So I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think he just gets the humour spot on, doesn't he? He really does. And the tone of his films, they're all just fun movies. That's what they are. And like you said about the child actors, the Roman Griffin Davis in here was just fantastic in this film. He led the film so well. I think he's only about 8 or 9 years old or something.
Yeah.
Maybe older, I don't know. But he led that film brilliantly, I thought.
Yeah, no, he really did. He's really, really good with his actors. You can tell because everyone loves him. Like, I think he presented an award at the Oscars with that kid as well, and they were bouncing off each other really well. And it's like the cast, because I watching a lot of Marvel things, press screenings and stuff. Everyone just has the most pleasant things to say about him. He seems like a really lovely guy. And even during lockdown, I don't know, did you see what he was doing in lockdown? He was like,
was he making videos or something, like mess about one?
Yeah, he was like reading children's books, like Three Little Bears and stuff. And then like Ryan Reynolds would pop up to read a line, or Benedict Cumberbatch, and he'd proper do the voices. He just seems like a really fun, energetic, nice bloke. And his movies are great.
The one you'd like to be around, basically, isn't he?
He's like the director that I think a lot of people want to work with at the minute. And you can see why. He's so good.
Yeah. Just a quick mention, that's a very special film to me, Jojo Rabbit, because it's the first movie I ever reviewed on my channel. Yeah, and I don't advise anyone to go and watch that review. Because it's all in one take, and I'm not very good at all.
Trust me, I look back at, especially my YouTube channel I had before this, when I was making videos when I was like 13, 14, I look back at it and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, but you get better with each video. That's the thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. I just want to ask you now something about the future of Taika Waititi. Obviously, we've got the new Thor movie coming, Love and Thunder, is it? Am I right in thinking, like, is Guardians of the Galaxy going to be mixed with this movie? Because he's on the ship with them at the end of the thing, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. Well, I've seen the set photos from Thor: Love and Thunder because they're filming it in a minute, and yeah, they're all on the set at the minute. The Guardians, minus Gamora, but they've all got new costumes and stuff, and they look awesome. I don't think they're going to be in the movie much. I think they'll be in it. I think they'll be in it for like a couple scenes at the start. They'll drop Thor off, and then we'll get on to like the main plot when Natalie Portman will come into it and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for it because I can't lie. I'm not sure how you feel about the first Thor film. I don't think you're big on the second one, if I remember correctly. But I'm not really a fan of the first two, so I'm just excited Thor's finally getting his due.
Yeah, I liked the first one. I really liked it. I remember not liking the second one too much, but maybe that'll change on me rewatch.
Yeah.
The third one is definitely the best, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the big question I want to ask you now, James,
yeah.
because I understand Star Wars is your favorite franchise. Is that right?
That's a very, very good guess there. That's for sure.
Well, I remember watching your top 10 movies ever. I think you've done it for Lucas's subscriber contest or something. And you had 3 Star Wars movies in there. Now, Taika Waititi is going to be doing a new one. Is that right?
That is correct. He's doing it. Well, there's two. There's the Patty Jenkins one, which after Wonder Woman 1984, I'm now very worried about. But then, yeah. He's doing the other one.
Yeah. Is this episode 10? What he's doing, or is it a standalone movie?
It's not episode 10 at the minute. No one knows. I'm really hoping it's a High Republic movie. I'm not sure if you've heard about the new era of Star Wars. It's the High Republic. It's set 200 years before episode 1.
Right.
Okay. And at the minute, I've got it right here, actually. I've got it handy. And I've read it, and it's fantastic. They've only released a novel. And it's amazing. It's really good. I think the next novel's out Monday, I think. So it's really, this new era of Star Wars is really kicking off. And I'm hoping that his movie's going to be there. Because I want to visually see this new era of Star Wars, not just read it. So I'm really hoping that that's where his film's going to be set. But we will see.
Okay, well, the big question I want to ask you, and it's probably a straightforward answer, is you picked Taika Waititi as one of your favourite directors here. Out of the 3 you've picked, how excited are you for Taika Waititi to do this Star Wars movie, which is your favourite franchise?
I'm very excited because I saw a lot of people complaining, saying like, "Oh, his style doesn't fit Star Wars." And it's like, have you seen The Mandalorian season 1 finale? It was amazing. It's like, I think his style suits Star Wars really well. And I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think Disney have just played a blinder there, really, snapping him up, really. I think
definitely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing film. Do you think I know it mightn't be episode 10 or whatever, but do you think it might get Star Wars back on track now with him? I know
hope
episode 9. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I was not a fan of episode 9. A lot of people, I get teased a lot about it by people on YouTube. My friends, they all love to tease me about episode 9. I'm hoping it really gets the movies back on track. I think the world of Star Wars has got back on track in other media, like TV shows. The novels are great. The comics are great. Even the games have got good again. It's just the movies. I really want the movies to pick themselves back up. And the Patty Jenkins thing is scaring me now because of Wonder Woman. But I'm hoping that I feel very confident and very safe with Taika.
Yeah. I think Patty Jenkins, I think she made a great first Wonder Woman. Then she got more involved in the writing of 84. So maybe if she just stays away from the writing in this one.
Yeah.
It might...
Yeah, I that's going to be one of them films that even if the trailers look good, I'm not going to speak too soon on that one. I'm going to wait till I've actually seen the movie.
Yeah. We're glad to get a bit of Star Wars in a collaboration with you, James, because I know I'm with it. Should we move on then to another director?
Let's go. Which one? I'm curious to see which one you'll put in first or second here, actually.
Well, I'm going to pick Martin Scorsese next. Now, I have to pick. I know you were going to go with him, but so obviously I think you're a bit of a fan of him. What I think about Martin Scorsese is I was looking at his filmography before. he's moved with the times, I think. So you watch Taxi Driver and Mean Streets, they are very, very 70s films. I've done a collaboration with my friend a while ago, and we've done 70s movies, and we picked Taxi Driver because we said that just defines 1970, I think. I think it just looks like it belongs there, and it does. It was made there, but it's got that very, gritty feel about it. And he's moved on in the times with, like, you've got, you made Raging Bull in the 80s, but the 90s, when you think Goodfellas and Casino, they are very 90s decade movies.
Yeah.
And then you've got, like, The Wolf of Wall Street, which is belonged in that time. So I think, I know this is a stupid comparison. Well, it's not stupid to me, but I don't know if you're into football or whatever, James, but some of the best managers change their football style with the times.
Yeah.
That, and I think that's what he's done with his movies, to be honest. So, what are your thoughts on Martin Scorsese?
I will say straight off the bat, I am not the biggest Martin Scorsese expert. I don't, because like when we done our quiz the other day, me, you, Lucas over on Alex's channel. As soon as it come up, I was like, well, I could probably knock about 5 films out here, but then I know I'm out. But I've seen most of the big ones. I've seen like The Godfather, Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, Wolf of Wall Street. I've seen the big ones, and I really do love them. I think they're fantastic. And Martin Scorsese is a director who I do need to and want to dive deeper into, because I've just seen the ones that you'd almost expect a movie fan to see. But I'd like to go into his back catalogue a lot more. But he's a fantastic director, one of the best.
Yeah. I just want to say, when we were doing that quiz the other day, there was a moment there for about a minute where I was just trying to think of a Scorsese film, because I knew them in my head. But when you're on the spot, sometimes it's so hard. And then all I did was think of Robert De Niro films, and then Cape Fear came into my head. I think he's one of them directors, isn't he? He trusts his cast members. You always see Pesci and Robert De Niro in there, don't you? And, well, I thought you were going to say something.
He had some of the best actors under him. That's for sure. Sure.
Yeah. I know you recently watched Goodfellas for the first time. Is that right? About 2 months ago or something?
Yeah, it was about 2 months ago. Yeah, I got it. I watched it when the new 4K set came out, which was it for an anniversary?
Yeah, I think it was the 30th.
Yes, that's right. 30th anniversary.
What did you think of it?
I really loved it. Because I'd just come off watching the Godfather films for the first time as well. So I was expecting something on the same sort of level. And I'm not going to lie, this might upset some people, but I actually preferred it to the Godfathers. Right. I just found the pacing a bit better. I found the characters a bit more interesting. And I thought the dialogue was excellent in Goodfellas. I really did.
I think he's very good at constructing his scenes. Like, sometimes the scenes that happen really quickly, but it moves the story along so much. And, well, it's very, very well constructed, his screenplay, I think. But yeah, I just think he's made some of the best films of all time, to be honest. When I look at some of the films he's made, Wolf of Wall Street, like, I think I put it in my top 10 movies of the decade, to be honest. Brilliant, to be honest.
I love that movie. I don't think it's technically his best made one, but it is hands down his most rewatchable, I think. The Wolf of Wall Street, as soon as it got added to Netflix like last month, straight away, I think it was like second day I watched it. And the brilliant thing about Wolf of Wall Street is it's like, 3 hours nearly? Yeah. It feels like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long, does it, at all? No. I had so much fun. I went to cinema to see that, and I was walking out going, that might be the greatest film I've ever seen. Yeah. But obviously, when you sit back a little bit, I don't think it is, but it is a really good film.
It's just so entertaining, that film. I can't put into words how much I love that film. It is just so good, and there's so many bits where I laugh out loud, where you shouldn't, because they're horrible people that you're watching, but they're so funny. One of my favorite scenes ever of any film ever is when Leo's like trying to say goodbye to everyone at his company. And then, he just goes, I ain't leaving.
A lot of memes out there now and GIFs and stuff of that, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it so much.
He's another one. Like, have you seen Taxi Driver?
Yes, yes. I actually watched that for the first time as well, like a month or two ago. I'm still very new to a lot of those classic Scorsese films.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite parts of that movie is actually where Martin Scorsese is in a scene.
Hmm.
I don't know if you knew this was him, but it's when this guy is in the back of his taxi
Hmm.
cab, says he's going to go and kill his girlfriend, and
I
he goes,
do, yeah, I do vaguely remember that actually.
that was actually him making a
Yeah.
cameo. I don't know how many cameos he's actually made, but I thought he was
Hmm.
like a really good actor there in that
Mm.
once.
It's funny. I found something interesting out about Martin Scorsese. I could be wrong, but isn't the only time he's ever acted outside of one of his own films was he voiced the pufferfish in what was the fish film called? The one
Big
that Will
Fish.
Smith, Shark Tale.
Shark Tale.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
that's the only time he's ever like acted outside of one of his own movies. It's actually quite amazing.
I didn't know that, to be honest.
I think I'm right. I could be wrong, but I think I saw that and I was like, that's such an odd choice. Maybe it's because Robert De Niro's in that movie. Maybe Robert De Niro was like, hey, come try and voice. You know, the director said, yeah, you could come voice this. I don't know, but it's very weird.
I think what I was really excited about a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019 actually, I thought Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci in the same film. I was so excited for the
Yeah,
artist. I was just
yeah.
couldn't contain my excitement. I watched it the day it come out. I just thought, one of my favorite directors with three of my favorite actors. Oh my god, it's happening.
Yeah.
What did you think? The Irishman? Have you seen that one?
Yes, I also watched that day one. I loved it. I thought there was some really really great stuff in it. The script was fantastic. The de aging was some of the best de aging I've ever seen as well. The only issue is because they're old men. When they walked, it looked a bit funny. Uh, I do think it was a little bit long. I do think
Yeah.
they could have cut the runtime down a bit. But other than that, it was genuinely a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a little bit long, but I did enjoy it. I mean, a lot of people said it's absolutely terrible, but I think they were just feeling the runtime a little bit there.
Yeah.
I think just I know we're not talking about actors here, but I thought Al Pacino stole the show, to be honest.
So do I. Al Pacino was amazing in it. He was so good. Because I went there for Robert De Niro. I'm such a big Robert De Niro fan. I really love him. But yeah, I will admit Al Pacino stole the show in that one, definitely.
The couple. I'll just mention another one really quick. I know you watched all the Rocky movies last month as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I told you to watch your channel.
Yeah.
Have you seen Raging Bull?
I have not. That's like the only big one that sort of escaped me because I remember when we were doing the quiz and the Scorsese round was going, and then I think it was like the first one that either you or Lucas said after I dropped out, and I was like, if I'd
Yeah.
seen the film, I definitely would have known that because it's such a I know the title, I've seen the posters, I've probably seen the trailers as well, and I need to get on that movie.
It's fantastic, mate. Like if you like the Rocky films, it's slightly different in tone. It's not as upbeat.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot of boxing scenes and stuff in it, and it's a true story, and it's definitely worth watching. I highly
Yeah.
recommend it. It's one of his best films. There's a couple I haven't seen. I've just wrote some down. The King of Comedy.
I've got that like right here. I've got it handy. I bought this because I hear that it's what the Joker took a lot of inspiration from. I think you like this film a lot more than me. I'm not huge on the Joker, so I was very curious to see how similar it was, but I still haven't watched it.
It's one I want to get on Blu-ray because I've heard it's one of his better films. To be honest,
Mm.
I'm surprised I haven't seen it. And there's a couple of more like Bringing Out the Dead. I've heard that's not great. A Nicolas Cage horror one, I think.
Yeah,
But I
I
haven't seen.
have not seen that. No, I I don't really go near Nicolas Cage stuff too often. I can't lie.
He was really good for a bit, and I think he's just gone weirder as his career's gone on. Some of the movies.
There are some good films there, but he's not one of my favourites.
Right, well, I'll probably just leave it there for Martin Scorsese now because I just I think he's one of the best directors
Yeah.
ever. I have to bring him up. So, is there anything else you'd like to say on Scorsese, James?
There's just one film I'd like to bring up because I love it, and it seems so left field for him because I think it's just like a PG. It's a very innocent movie, but Hugo was such an unexpected film for him as well. I love that movie.
Yeah, I have. That's another one I haven't seen. I wrote that down as well.
That one's so good. I really love it. It's got so much charm to it. It's really, really good. It's really sweet and innocent, and it's a gorgeous looking film. I love Hugo.
Well, I think that's what's good about the best directors. They can change the genres a little bit, can't they? I mean, it's more of a family orientated film, yeah. So, yeah, just shows how he can adapt, doesn't it? Like I said, move at times as well. So,
exactly.
All right, James. We'll move on to your next one if you want.
Okay. It's really hard because I don't really know what my favorite director is, but I guess I'll go with this one next. I will say Wes Anderson because I don't know what film. It was Fantastic Mr. Fox. I grew up with that movie, and I remember the Grand Budapest Hotel coming out, watching it, going, "That was one of the best films I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And then I went back and watched everything else, and other than like one movie, I genuinely really enjoyed them all. Like his catalog's really good. But like we were saying before, you've seen 3, I think. Is it 3?
When you picked it, I was like, oh damn it! I know it's the director I have always wanted to get around to, and I just haven't for some reason. I've seen 2 of his films, and I'm really sorry. I do apologize. I did plan on watching a few this week, but I just didn't have access to them. And I ordered them on Blu-ray. I don't think they would have come in time anyway. But there's a few that do intrigue me that I want to ask you about in a minute. But like you said there, the Grand Budapest Hotel, fantastic film.
Yeah.
And all movies in that sort of tone, are they? Where they're just, I think, is it kind of like Taika Waititi where you're just having fun through them? Or
yeah, he's got his style. He's got his quirky humor, and whereas I think Taika's is more laugh out loud, this is more awkward humor. I think because the cameras they like addressing the cameras in this. They're like looking straight down the lens, and there's those very awkward frames that they get into. And they do that for all of his films. And it's a really quirky style, which I've never seen another director capture before. But yeah, his films all of them are mostly like that.
He uses a lot of different stars as well, doesn't he? Like when you look at the Grand Budapest Hotel Blu-ray cover, there's so many big actors and actresses on there.
Yeah, he's great as well. Like we were saying with Scorsese, he gets a lot of the same people back. Like you'll always see Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, Owen Wilson. They're always popping up in his films, and it's really great. Because sometimes they're lead roles, they'll have lead roles, and sometimes it will just be one scene. So it's really interesting to watch, I think, just to try and spot the actors in there.
But I wanted to ask you something now. I looked up a few rankings of people what they thought was the best because I knew we were doing this collaboration video, and someone said this bad dad thing. What's that? Do you know what that's about? Because someone went, yeah, it doesn't include this bad dad storyline or something. I don't know what they were on about, but I don't know if that's a saying for something else.
I'm actually not too sure on that one. Actually, I don't know. I know there was a short film he made for the Darjeeling Limited, which had Natalie Portman in, which was really good. But I don't know if they're referring to that or not. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, maybe it's just I really don't know what they were talking about there. I thought maybe you can elaborate on the live stream. But anyway, you mentioned the fantastic Mr. Fox there. I did watch this one, and I love it because I know he's made 2 animated films. Is it?
Stop motion. This was the first one, and in my opinion, the much better one.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I didn't expect it to be like this at all.
No.
But it's so, like you said, it's really quirky. I don't think I've seen a film like that before. To be honest.
No, I love watching him get the actors to film it because he had like the recording stuff all set up around them, and he actually took them out to like a farm, and they were actually like running around. And it's funny to watch them behind the scenes because they look really stupid.
I didn't know that.
But it's good fun. The movie. It's kind of a one which I mean I don't know when it come out. Because
I think it's 2009. I think.
So yeah, I would have been 13, 14, something like that when it come out. So I remember watching it a lot when I was at secondary school, and really enjoying it. So I think I was sort of a little bit biased because I grew up with that one a little bit. But yeah, I found it really, really entertaining, and I quite liked all the silly little music pieces they done in it. I thought it was good fun.
I really enjoyed it, and I said to my fiance after we watched it, I want to watch that again because I've enjoyed it, but I didn't expect it to be like that, and I want to watch it again to get the full effect of it because I think it's like nothing I've seen before. But Isle of Dogs not as good, no.
No, I was very disappointed with Isle of Dogs because it was the first one I saw in cinema, and I remember dragging my friend Ryan, who I do my podcast with, to see it, and when we walked out, he was like, "This is what you've been raving about," and I was like, admittedly, that one wasn't as good. I'm not a fan. That film, half of it's in Japanese, I think, and then the other half is in English. Now, I really don't mind reading subtitles and stuff. But they switch so often, it gets really distracting. And the story just wasn't that interesting. I didn't think, and the characters weren't as good. It wasn't a bad film. It wasn't. I still had a good time with it, but it wasn't as good as his other films. It was definitely on the weaker part of his catalogue.
I'm sorry to bring Fantastic Mr. Fox up again, by the way, but I forgot to mention Willem Dafoe as the rat.
Yes, absolutely. Willem Dafoe pops up in so many of his movies, but one of my favourites is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. He is so funny in that. He's like a jealous, because he idolizes Bill Murray in that film, and he's like a jealous girlfriend in that movie. He's hilarious.
Because I was reading up on his movies, and someone said the ranking said he steals the show in that.
Yeah.
But I thought he sort of stole the show in Fantastic Mr. Fox as well. Like I loved him as the rat. But I wanted to ask you about The Life Aquatic because this is the one that I fancy the most out of all of them. Is it?
I think it's my second favorite after the Grand Budapest because while narratively the film has some problems at the start, like getting going, but once the film gets going, it's great. And I think it's his funniest movie. Like the humor in it's really good. Bill Murray, he's one of my favorite comedic actors. And this is the funniest I've ever seen Bill Murray. He's so good in it. And Jeff Goldblum's great in it. Willem Dafoe is hilarious. Owen Wilson's really good in it. And I just find this movie just so entertaining. I put it on all the time. It's a great film.
Yeah, it's all the actors you just mentioned and the story, what I read about it. Like Owen Wilson, I'm a big fan of. Bill Murray, love him. And the story, it says it's about going for a shark or something. Well, I've got a feeling there's more to it than that. Am I right? Or...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. He's like I forget the name of it. You know, he's a bit like a David Attenborough, where he'll go out and look at record sea life and make documentaries on it. Right at the start of the film, his best mate's killed by a shark, and it's so funny. He's like premiering his new documentary, and at the end of it, he's like, "Now I'm gonna go kill that shark." So it's like a revenge film, but then he discovers Owen Wilson, his son, and it's like them two reconnecting as well, and it's a very entertaining film.
Right. I just wish I would have seen these in time, but I'm glad you've actually brought them up because it's pushing me now to wanting to watch them. I understand he's one of the best modern directors out there, and it's just there's so many films to watch in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it took me a while to watch them all, to be fair. But I know the Grand Budapest Hotel's getting a Criterion this month, and the Darjeeling Limited's just had its Criterion come up. So I think that will be all of his films other than The Isle of Dogs on Criterion soon. So I'm really, really happy to have them all.
When Alex asked the question, what was his first film, and you and Lucas knew it, I just thought, everyone's going to think I'm absolutely serious.
I did have to think about it, to be fair, because I was thinking Rushmore or Bottle Rocket, and I was trying to think. It did take me a minute, to be fair, to get it.
Another one that I think sounds really good is Moonrise Kingdom. I thought that looked good.
That one that is a very good film. I find because it's based around two kids, and I find they have like a love story in it, and I find that a little bit hard to watch sometimes because they're very young and it's on film, right. And there's a bit where they're at the beach and they're going to swim. And it's like I'm not sure about this, but other than that, it is really good. Again, Brad Pitt's in this. Not Brad Pitt, sorry. Bruce Willis is in this one, and he's really good. Bill Murray, again, not in this one much, but he has one scene which cracks me up. So he just comes down the stairs in his house. His two kids are sitting on the stairs. They look depressed as hell. Comes down. Don't know why. He's got his shirt off, I think, and he's got like an axe over his shoulder. He's got a drink in the other hand. He just looks at the kids. He's like, all right. And he goes, I'm going to go cut a tree down. It's like, what the hell was that about? Just some really weird, random stuff in it. It cracks me up. But yeah, no, it's a really fun movie, to be fair, Moonrise Kingdom. I do like it a lot.
Yeah. But the Royal Tenenbaums is another one. I mean, that one looked all right as well. But it was that one. Royal Tenenbaums and The Life of Aquatic that really made me want to watch them, to be honest.
Yeah, the Royal Tenenbaums is great because I love films like that where it's a big house and you've got this huge quirky family which don't all get on in it. And I love films like that. It's a really interesting movie, I think. And Ben Stiller's in that one. I think he's only in... Oh, no. I want to say that's the only film he's in, but for some reason I'm thinking he pops up for a small cameo in one of the others.
Yeah, like you said, the large variety of actors and actresses using there. But,
yeah.
I'm sorry I can't bring up any more about Wes Anderson.
Oh, no, that's all right.
I appreciate you for leading that one a bit more.
Yeah.
For me.
Oh, no, it's fine. He's a very interesting director, which is why I thought he'd be a good one to bring up because he's just quirky and he's got a very unique flair to him, which I really like.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else to say on him, or?
No, I think that about do it for me on Wes Anderson.
He's gonna be continuing to make movies. Is that right?
The French Dispatch is his next film, and it looks fantastic. We should have seen it by now, but cheers, COVID.
Is it made? Is the movie made, or is it?
Mate, there's a trailer, and it really looks Grand Budapest Hotel-ish. So I'm very, very much looking forward to it.
I'm gonna definitely watch all these films before that comes out. Definitely. Yeah. It's like my new thing to do now is watch some films.
They're not all great, but for the most part, they're very enjoyable, I think.
Yeah. Well, now I'm reviewing films on my channel and stuff. I need to see them. I feel so. I'll move on then to my number one pick. He's my favorite director of all time, and it is Quentin Tarantino. I think the best way to describe Tarantino, personally for me, I'll ask you how you feel on him in a minute, James, but his worst movie is better than some directors' best, because I just think every one of his films are brilliant. There is only one that I haven't actually sort of fell in love with, and I just have a blast with each one of them. Even when people were saying Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not that great, I was just like, what are these people talking about? I just think, I mean, you might disagree with that, that's fine. But I just thought it was amazing. He's very dialogue heavy, but I love the dialogue he comes up with. He made that unbelievable directional debut in Reservoir Dogs. I think he made that movie for less than $1 million, or was it? Was it less than $1 million or something?
Yeah, very small budget. I know that much.
It might have been 10 million. I'm not sure, but I just think he's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant writer, and brings up lots of unique characters and stuff in his movies. And he's a unique character himself. If you watch some of his interviews, I laugh in hysterics at him.
Yeah, he is a funny bloke. He is.
what do you think on Tarantino as a filmmaker then, James? I mean, I don't know if you love him as much as me, but
I really, really like him. I do. He has made a couple of my favorite films ever. Like Django Unchained for me is like Wolf of Wall Street sort of level, where it's like I can rewatch it any day. It's amazing. I think his style of filmmaking is really unique. Again, his dialogue is unbelievable. And I really love all of his films to a certain extent, but one. There is one, I can't lie, that I'm not a fan of. And I'm pretty sure it's one which will come as no surprise to anyone. I'm not big on Death Proof. That's the only one there where I'm like, I could leave that one out. But other than that, I love each film feels so different. And they're just, you know, he's got quite a few masterpieces under him, I really feel.
Yeah, I had a feeling you're going to say Death Proof. I know a lot of people don't love that movie, but I would probably put it in my top 5 Tarantino films. I just absolutely think it's brilliant. At the first watch, I didn't love it. And when I went back to it, I thought, why didn't I like this film as much as I thought?
Yeah.
Brilliant, the way it was filmed and everything. But, like, let's just start with Reservoir Dogs. Have you seen this one?
I've seen all of his films, yeah. I wanted... oh, God, it must have been about 5-6 months ago now. It was before I started my series of what I've been watching for a month. I decided to watch all the ones I hadn't seen. So it was like Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, and I think Death Proof. I think they were the only 3 I hadn't seen.
Right.
But yeah.
What I like about that film is you've got to imagine the heist in your head, haven't you? I mean, just through the dialogue, again, he's written it really well and stuff. And that's what I liked about it. And the other day, I'd done a collaboration with my mate, Tony, and he brought up a very interesting thing, like what he'd seen on screen, of Tarantino trying to tell us that Mr. Orange is the rat, basically, because there's a lot of orange in the film. And he actually went and made a video on it on his YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my God, there's like a bit where they're talking about who the rat might be, and then an orange balloon bounces off the road. And it's like, why did he put that there? But I never noticed it. And
no, that's interesting though.
But I think I'd probably put Reservoir Dogs up there in my top 3, to be honest. What did you like it?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I really I don't have loads to say on it, to be honest, because I've only watched it once. But I don't have anything bad to say. I know that much. I had a great time with it. I think dialogue, it's one of his best. It's a really great movie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to bring up this second movie now because I just think it's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. What did you think of Pulp Fiction, James?
I love it. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's not one of my personal favourites of him. I'd probably say it's like my 3rd or 4th favourite, because I know most people would go 1 or 2 without a doubt. But no, I love how like the movie isn't happening in order. For the first time I watched it, I was baffled, to be honest. I think I was watching it on off, and I was like, I'm lost. But then over a few rewatches, I've come to appreciate it a lot more. I think in terms of character stories, it's fantastic. The dialogue's great. And I love the feel for this movie. It's very retro now, looking back at it, and I love it. I think it's great. And the soundtrack, the score, wow, incredible.
I remember I watched this for the first time when I was about 15, and I instantly rewatched it. I just put it on again. I watched it twice in one day. I was just like, oh my God, what have I just watched there? The scene with the gimp, I just didn't see that coming at all. I was like, what's going on here?
I was so confused. The first time I watched the film, I think half the movie, I was like, what's happening?
The last scene as well, where they're in the restaurant, I totally forgot about that, because that's the first scene of the film.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, and I think, oh my God, these 2 gangsters are in this restaurant. What's going to happen here?
Yeah. It's great. Sam Jackson as well in this movie. Yeah. Wow.
I think that's my favourite Samuel L. Jackson role, to be honest. He's made a lot of films, but
I think it could be my favourite performance from him as well.
The one that says "bad motherfucker" on it.
Exactly. I love how he's carried that line with him everywhere as well. In fact, I remember watching him in an interview on Graham Norton where he's talking about his lightsaber from Star Wars, and he got it engraved on his lightsaber.
Oh my god, I didn't know that at all. I'll just quickly go through the Jackie Brown. I thought that was a really, really good film. I haven't seen it for a long time. I didn't love it as much as Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, but I still think it's a solid movie.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on this one, to be honest. I don't remember loads of it, but I remember being shocked at the scene with that blonde girl and Robert De Niro, where all of a sudden he randomly just, bang. I was like, whoa, what happened there? But yeah, no, I enjoyed the film a lot. It was really good, but I just can't remember loads of that one.
Kill Bill 1 and 2. I'm one of them who prefers the second one, to be honest. I just think I just like the story and the flow a bit better. The first one is a bit over the top, which isn't a bad thing, but I just prefer the second. It's a bit more slower paced and tells a better story. But I've seen a few people on your movie book page, by the way, recently talking about that they like 2 better.
Yeah.
Fan of them films, James?
I like them. I honestly don't know what one I prefer, though. When this conversation always comes up, I never know what to say, because I'm like, I just genuinely, because I watched them twice, and both times I watched them back to back. For me, it's just like one epic 4-hour film. It's like I just always watch them back to back. I genuinely don't think I could choose between them. For me, they're sort of same level.
That's fair enough, because I think Tarantino himself has come out and said he classes it as one film anyway. So.
I think that's where a lot of people get confused, because I used to get confused where it's like when it goes, the Hateful Eight was his 8th film, and I'm like, he's got 9. I was like, I get so confused.
I think you're a fan of this one. I think you remember you saying Inglourious Bastards. Was that you?
Yes, I think this film, while it's not my favourite, I think this is without a doubt his best made movie. I think this is his masterpiece. I think it is such a well-made movie. I think it's genius.
I thought when I watched Kill Bill 1 and 2 and Jackie Brown, I was like, they're really, really good films. I do like them. They're not really as good as the first 2 he made. And this one went on to that level again. And I thought he's his feet again here. And it's fantastic, isn't it? That opening scene is so
it's I love how how Christoph Waltz's character walked into a room, and in every single thing, I think he was French, the guy. Everything he was doing, Christoph Waltz would just up him. Like, he'd just pull out a pipe smoke. Christoph Waltz pull out a bigger one. It was like, he just gradually broke him down. And it's like, this is incredible.
Like we said at the start, that is a 20-minute dialogue scene, basically. But it's done so well, isn't it?
It is. I think, as I say, I prefer Django, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I think this is his masterpiece. I really do. I think this is the film where it's just so creatively brilliant.
I remember when IMDb had forums, where I missed them, to be honest. I used to love talking in them forums, but someone just had a title under the Inglourious Bastards page saying, "How dare Tarantino rewrite history because Hitler is obviously killed in the cinema."
Cool. It's like, give it another 10 years and you get Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. When he done it again.
Yeah. I like it when things do that, though, because it's like, if it's gonna be identical to history, fair enough. It's fascinating to see these things come to life. For people who weren't there, obviously. But it's nice to put a different twist on it. It's nice. I mean, who cares? It's a film.
No. People get too angry over little things like that.
Yeah. It's a piece of entertainment. That's all it is.
The next one he did make was, it might have been Death Proof, actually. I can't quite. I think I wrote Death Proof last because I forgot to write down. Obviously, you're not a fan of that. But I really like it. But.
Yeah, it's my problem with it is I think I got halfway through, and then then the film just goes to a completely new set of characters, and I was like, I was just a bit like, well, what's the point of getting to know them for that to happen, to then just go to another bunch of characters?
I get what you say. I think it's part of a Grindhouse feature where he done another film with Planet Terror with Robert Rodriguez, and they tried to merge it together, but it didn't quite pay off the way they wanted it to. So he obviously made the long version.
Yeah. It is entertaining. I don't dislike the movie. I just think it's weaker compared to the others.
Yeah. Django Unchained is, like you said, brilliant.
I love this movie so much. It's so rewatchable. I do think Inglourious is the better made movie, but I prefer Django because I have a lot more fun with it. Like Samuel Jackson cracks me up in it. Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, I've seen Leonardo DiCaprio's face everywhere this year from that movie. They've made that huge meme out of him with him holding that glass. I've seen it everywhere. Christoph Waltz. It's such a shame that no one else knows how to handle this actor, because when he's with Quentin Tarantino, he is the best actor on the planet. Like him in Inglourious and this, perfect. 10 out of 10. Yeah, I just love this film. I really do. I've heard some people say it goes on a little bit too long at the end, but I think the payoff is so good. And the music is amazing. And one of my favorites, this has one of my favorite movie scenes ever. No, actually two. There are two scenes in this film which I absolutely love, which I have to talk about. When he walks into a bar and he kills the mayor or something like that, the sheriff. No, he kills the sheriff of the town. And then eventually, like, the deputy comes along and he ends up getting paid for killing the sheriff because he talks his way out of it. And then, even though it's incredibly racist and horrible, the KKK bit where they turn up and you've got, like, Jonah Hill and they're sitting on their horses and they've got the bags on their head and the holes are right now, like, who cut these holes on these bags?
But I like that bit when he goes, I think we can all agree that it was a good idea.
Yeah.
It could have done better.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I just go, screw you guys, I'm going home. And I was like, that's not so bad. But,
I love it so much.
One of my favourite lines ever in a film is in this one. When he comes back for revenge, Jamie Foxx, and just goes, I love the way you die, boy. I was like,
so good.
When he said that.
Yeah, I'm not a big Jamie Foxx fan, so I was really surprised how much I liked this. And because I remember at the time when this film was getting made and it was like Will Smith was going to do it, and then it all come up that Will Smith was going to do it, I think, around the movie's release. And now I can't imagine Will Smith doing it. For me, it's like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I thought he was all right in this. I mean, I like Jamie Foxx. I thought he was really good at being a driver. But, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, what did you think of this one, James? Because, like I said at the start of the video, a lot of people didn't like it. I did. I personally loved it.
You know what? First watch in the cinema, I was disappointed. I walked out the cinema. I was on cloud nine because I loved the ending of it from the word go. First watch, I loved the ending. I remember walking out the cinema like, wow, that ending was amazing. And I saw it with like a big group of people. And when we actually started talking about the rest of the film, I was like, you know what? I don't think I loved it. I got the Blu-ray and I rewatched it and I liked it a lot more. And then I watched it Christmas Day, funny enough. It was on in the evening, and obviously because of COVID, like I was literally just with my sister was at a boyfriend, so it was just me and my parents, and we watched it. Every time I watch the film, I like it more. It is a film that is growing on me. I like it a lot. It's a weird comparison. No one gets my comparison until I explain it. But I always sort of compared it to Dunkirk. Like, there's not much of a narrative. It's meant to just put you in this time and to just try and immerse you in this in this 60s Hollywood vibe, and it's amazing. I love putting the film on and just immersing myself in there. It's fantastic, and I love the music as well. It's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I think he captured the time decade brilliantly in this film, and it looks gorgeous. It really is a lovely looking film. One of the moments I loved in that was where Brad Pitt was going to, was it like the hippies or something?
Yeah.
And going, you better let me in, or you gotta go in to the old fella.
I love how he the bit where he's about to get in his car or someone's let his tires down, and then he absolutely he destroys the poor guy who let his tires down. He makes him put a new one on or something, don't he?
Yeah. As well, when you talk about him beating that guy up, I think only Quentin Tarantino would dare to do this, but Bruce Lee, probably the hardest man in the history of the world ever, gets beat by Brad Pitt.
Yeah. I do remember watching that thinking, oh, there's going to be some unhappy people with that. But the ending to the film, though, was amazing. My favourite scene in it is still when the woman goes through the glass door after she's been attacked by the dog. She ends up in the pool, and Leo jumps up screaming. I ain't got a clue what's going on. He goes into his garage, and I think, oh, he's legged it. He's out. And he comes back with a flamethrower.
Yeah. At the end, he goes, "Is everyone okay?" And he goes, "Well, the hippies aren't. That's for them."
Oh dear, it's so good. I loved the ending of that film. I think honestly, the ending of that film takes the movie from about a 7 to an 8 out of 10 in my book. It's so good.
Yeah, it is a brilliant ending. Possibly his best ending to any of his films.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Quentin Tarantino. I think we've covered him there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Else you'd like to say on him? Or?
No, I think we really covered it. He's a fantastic director. He really is. And if there's anyone who's watching who hasn't seen any of his films, I definitely recommend watching them.
All I'd say is I'd love to see him do a horror movie. Now, people might say Death Proof is one. I don't. I think that's more of a thriller, but I would love to see him do a horror movie, kind of like Stanley Kubrick did, where he was making Clockwork Orange and stuff, and then he done The Shining, which is I would love to see Tarantino's take on a horror myself, but that's probably just because I'm a big horror fan and he's my favourite.
No, he would be good for horror, definitely. I must say, I'm pleased or at least I don't think this is happening. I'm pleased that Star Trek film of his isn't happening.
You wouldn't be a fan of that?
I can't. I'm not a big Star Trek person. I'm not. But I can't see his style on a Star Trek film. It'd be interesting, but I'd personally rather him do a horror movie or just do another one of his normal films. I'd rather him do that than a Star Trek film because I think he's better at that stuff.
I agree with that. I'm not a big Star Trek fan myself, and I don't think it probably fit the way he does it. But I don't know. I wouldn't put anything past him. I mean, I've really liked every one of his films. So they surprised me with that. All right, then, James. Do you want to go on to your last director then?
Yeah, well, I got to say, I struggled a bit when we said we're going to do 3 directors because I really didn't know who to pick. And I was going to do Scorsese, but then after the quiz, I was like, I probably shouldn't do Scorsese because I'm not as familiar with him as I should be. And I just thought, I'm just going to go easy. And Spielberg.
Yeah.
Why not? He's got like some of my favourite films ever are by Spielberg. And while sometimes he plays it safe and sometimes there are some bad ones, he has got some absolutely incredible movies under his belt.
Yeah. I don't think we could do a director's episode without talking about him, to be honest, James. I think he's one of them. He has made some cinematic moments in history. Like, sometimes when you just think of movies, some of the images that might come into your head, the characters from films, E.T. and the Indiana Jones, Jaws.
Yeah.
He's just made some of the biggest films ever, hasn't he? I mean,
he has.
He's made like over 60 films. I've seen half of them. And I don't think we can go through every one of them, but
no.
He is quite consistent. He makes a lot of good movies, doesn't he? I mean, he's just brilliant. He is. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's one of those things where I would have loved to have grown up when this guy was putting out, his best movies, because somehow he always topped himself. Like, 70s, you have like you have Jaws, 80s, you have E.T., 90s, you got Jurassic Park. It's like, this guy don't stop.
Yeah, he's like Scorsese, like different director, but moves with the times, doesn't he? And I think he brought the first big blockbuster out ever, didn't he? Which was Jaws, the big summer blockbuster that people refer to as the biggest, the first one. Really, I watched this the other day. I would like to just talk about Jaws a second because I watched this the other day and I hadn't seen it for like 10 years, and I thought, a lot of my YouTuber friends have this as like one of their favorite films, so I need to give this another go. And I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 5. I was just like, wow, there's so many good moments in that film.
Oh, good. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all right. I was just going to say, you got it spot on by not showing the shark until halfway through the film, really. The music is part of the terror. I mean, you're seeing it from the shark's point of view at the very start of the film with the music and stuff. There were so many things I could have I could speak about with this film.
Yeah.
It's just so many great moments, and I didn't realize how good of a quote that is. We're gonna need a big quote, because when he said it, I was like, "Wow,
Yeah.
that is landed
I,
perfect."
yeah, it's so good. Jaws for me, because I know that it's classed as a horror film, which is why when I always get asked what's your favorite horror film, I say, well, technically Jaws, but I don't really count it as a horror film. For me, it's more of a character-based movie. Like just watching Chief Brody and him interact with people, I think is fascinating. To watch him, it looks like he's going insane at times, and it's such a well done movie. I think the tension is. You could tell why everyone was terrified of sharks after watching this movie. I know I was as a kid because I had the box set of all four when I was younger on DVD, and I'd watch them, and then I'd go on holiday with my parents, and I'd constantly be in the water like, I don't feel safe.
I still do it now. If I go in the
Yeah.
water now, I think of this film. First thought that comes to my head.
Yeah.
And you know what? My mum and dad used to say to me, "Oh, don't worry. If a shark's going to attack you, it's usually in the deep ocean." And then I watched this the other day, and it's like most shark attacks actually happen right by the coast.
Yeah.
So, my mum and dad were lying to me for years there.
It is terrifying. Like when I'd go abroad and stuff when I was younger, my parents put my snorkels on. I'd always like look around, and then I'd just expect just to see this nose of a shark coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, have you got any other favourites then of Spielberg?
Jurassic Park, definitely. I grew up with that one. It was that's why when we done that quiz the other day, I couldn't believe it took so long for Jurassic Park to come up in the Spielberg round.
Whoever went next had it easy with Lost World.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I love this movie. I think pacing wise, it's perfection. The music is amazing. The CGI holds up really well. It looks better. Some of the CGI and it looks better than films getting CGI today. I think the film is down near perfection. It's like the classic fun adventure blockbuster movie, I think.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I love Jurassic Park. The T-Rex is one of the most terrifying movie creatures I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah.
So many great moments in that film, isn't it? It's just fantastic. The Velociraptor scene and stuff.
Yeah.
But it does stand the test of time. It still looks amazing right now. I mean, it looks better than some movies that are made today.
Yeah, it really does. I love that they got the perfect mix of like animatronics and then CGI in this film, I think.
Yeah, he is brilliant at special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I love Jurassic Park. I know there's been 5 sequels, but we haven't matched it in my opinion yet.
I like 2 a lot, which is of course also a Spielberg film. I've always defended 3. I don't think it's terrible.
Me neither.
I like Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom is the one where I have problems.
It felt like a filler film, that one for me, just to get to the 3rd one, which is obviously I think it's going to be set in the city basically, isn't it? It felt like a filler film for me. That like let's just make this one to get to that one.
Yeah.
But obviously he's made like E.T. and stuff. I've only seen that film once, to be honest. I know how big of a film it is.
I've only seen it like twice in my life, to be honest, as well. And the last time was probably about 5 years ago, so I haven't seen it in a while. I do love the movie; it's great, but it's been a long time. But Indiana Jones, love those movies as well. So good. Other than maybe the 4th one. The 4th one's a bit.
I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark a couple of months ago now. And I always used to go. I grew up on Temple of Doom. That's the one I used to rewatch all the time. But I didn't realize how good Raiders of the Lost Ark actually was. It's like a perfect adventure film, really, isn't it?
I completely agree. It's really interesting because everyone sort of goes 1 and 3 are like the masterpieces, and 2 sort of falls in the middle. I kind of put all 3 on the same level. I don't know if it's because I sort of grew up with Temple of Doom the most as well. That one just seemed to be on TV the most.
I love Temple of Doom. I just think it's non-stop fun, action, entertainment. I don't see the problem with it. And Spielberg himself says he's not really a big fan of it. So
yeah, it's strange. I find it really fun. Because for example, my dad loves Indiana Jones, and he doesn't like the kid in it, Shorty.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was younger, I used to walk around the house to annoy him. I just used to shout out from another room and just go, "Dr. Jones!" just to annoy him. But I actually really like him. He adds to the film. Yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy that movie. It's good. As the only Indiana Jones film I got problems with really is the Crystal Skull one. That one's a bit.
Yeah. Is he directing the new one? Do you know?
No, he isn't. Who is directing it? Because I actually like the director they've got, but I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But I remember looking into it and being like, oh, actually, I do like him a lot. And to be honest, after Crystal Skull, I'm not super fussed.
I didn't mind Crystal Skull, but it's not on par with the other three. It's just not.
I don't think it's terrible, but it's not as bad as some people make out. I'll say that much.
When you think of them films that we've just mentioned there, maybe Jaws aside, the more like fun entertainment throughout.
Yeah.
But he also went on to make Saving Private Ryan, which is more of a definitely realistic drama. Well, it's a war movie, isn't it? But that first 30 minutes isn't really Spielberg like at all. It's very violent and stuff, isn't it?
I love the D-Day stuff in that. It's amazing. I again, that's another near perfect film for me. That could be a 10 out of 10 film for me. I think that film is so incredible. It's so hard hitting as well. Like at the end of it, I'm always in tears.
It's brilliant. It's fantastic. Do you know what got me last time I watched it? I forgot about this, but you think it's Tom Hanks telling the story, don't you? And it's not. It's Damon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, the ending, I think, because I think that the thing, again, it's going back to something we were talking about earlier, just because it's so real, that stuff like this actually happened in the world, like, the war was so terrible and stuff, and I think that adds to the impact of it, but it's filmed brilliantly.
Like he just adapts, doesn't he? He's just adapted, like from going from lots of fun movies to this. I mean, he has made a lot of dramas and stuff. Colour Purple is one that I really like, to be honest. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I actually haven't seen that one. I do have it on Blu-ray, but I just haven't got around to it yet.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I liked it. Catch Me If You Can, another great one. The Terminal.
Love that one. Yeah, both great films. I really love as well, and I always forget the name of it because I forgot it on the quiz the other day. Bridge of Spies. I love that movie as well.
Yeah, is that Tom Cruise? No,
Tom Hanks. That one.
Okay, I haven't seen that one, to be honest. There's a lot I haven't seen of his. I've seen about half his filmography. Is there any more you'd like to bring up, James, that you'd like to speak about? Or?
Ooh, I'm probably missing a big one again because he's just got so many.
Yeah.
This is kind of giving me flashbacks to when we were doing the quiz.
Well, there is a big one here that I wrote down, Schindler's List.
Actually, haven't seen that.
I've only seen it the once, to be honest. I actually went to Poland, and is it Poland? Yeah, it was. And seeing all them camps and stuff, and when I come back, like, I'm gonna watch that film, and I just didn't. But I do want to watch that again and give it another go. I watched Minority Report not long ago. I thought it was okay. But yeah, does Ready Player 2 coming out as well? Is that him?
Well, the book's just come out, so I'm guessing there'll be a film eventually on Ready Player 2. Whether or not Spielberg does it, his next film up is West Side Story, I think, which is a musical, which is quite exciting for me because I love a good musical. So I'm hoping that it's good, but we'll see. I mean, he's been a little bit up and down lately, Spielberg, because I was not a fan of the BFG, which was 2015 or 16, I think.
Yeah, because when I was looking at his films before, they do slowly get a little bit lower than from times, but he's still amazing, a masterful filmmaker, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned him, to be honest, because we have to.
I think he's probably the most famous director ever.
Yeah, that's another reason. Yeah, he's very popular. Anything else to say on Spielberg, James? Or
no, I think that probably about does it for me on Spielberg. To be fair, great director and so many classics.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, that's our three directors we've gone through there. I hope you enjoyed it, James. Did you have a good time?
It was a blast, honestly. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you for coming on. And I should have said this at the start of the video, but it slipped my mind. I'm really sorry, but congratulations on 3,000 subscribers. I think you're on 3,100 and something now, aren't you?
Oh, am I? Oh god, I don't know. It's it's amazing. But yeah, no, thank you. It's all good fun.
Definitely get over to James's channel, everyone. You will not regret it, I promise you. And as you can see, he's a very nice guy, and he always brings the entertainment value to his videos. The link will be in the description.
Thank you so much. You're too kind.
Obviously, one day, James, if you ever want to do it again, we'll do it again.
100%. We'll do it again.
maybe a live stream in future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you want to leave the comments down below about your favorite directors, guys, if you've got any, anything you want to put about these films or anything like that, I'll reply to every single one of you, I promise. So thanks so much once again, James, for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. Honestly, It's been an absolute blast.
No worries. Take it all easy, everyone. And if you want to check out any more collaborations, they'll be down below along with the link to James's channel. Thanks so much. See you later.
Bye-bye.